Hi, I'm Morten Solvik, Vice President of Mahler Foundation and host and producer of the Mahler Hour, where we bring you the personalities, places, and projects happening right now in the Mahler community around the world. Welcome. Last month, we brought you Nathalie Bauer-Lechner, Mahler's confidant. Not only a crucial figure in the composer's life, she was also an accomplished musician, an intellectual, an author, a pacifist, an advocate of women's rights. We have Nathalie Bauer-Lechner to thank for a wealth of knowledge about Mahler during their 10 years of close friendship. Helping me explore this fascinating person were my guests Sibylle Werner, Stephen Heffling, and Beate Thalberg. Remember, you can see this show and all past Mahler Hours on our website. During this episode of Mahler Hour, we will be turning our attention to the grave situation in Ukraine and to some of the personalities that can help us get a perspective on what is happening and what we can do. My main guest will be the conductor Oksana Lyniv. Before we begin, let me remind everyone attending live to post any questions you might have for our guests to the comments section. We will get to these at the end of our show. Don't forget to include your name or at least the city and country you are writing from. Also, the Mahler Hour is brought to you by Mahler Foundation. So if you want to support our activities, please become a member. Just go to our website at mahlerfoundation.org for all of the details. I want to begin the show today by contextualizing Ukraine within the framework of Mahler's life. In April 1903, Mahler spent nearly a week preparing and giving a concert in Lemberg, at that time the capital of the Austrian province of Galicia and Lodomeria. Today, this place is known as the Ukrainian city of Lviv. Mahler had been invited to conduct the last two subscription concerts of the Philharmonic Society there on the 2nd and 4th of April, 1903. This is Lemberg at the time of Mahler's presence there, and that's the hotel he stayed, the George Hotel. Writing to Alma, Mahler makes an interesting observation, quote, "By all appearances, the public must be very hungry for music and of a more serious caliber than in Vienna. Otherwise, such an institution, which has already presented its 100th orchestral concert this season, would not be conceivable. I'm curious to see how they will react." Mahler's curiosity is understandable, for the program included his own first symphony. He writes, "So this evening is the first concert. Sometimes I think it inappropriate that I should be presenting my symphony to the people of Lemberg, but since it has to be, I will do my part. Who knows where a seed might take root?" Mahler's hopes bore fruit, so to speak. Quote, "Yesterday, my symphony made a very strong impression. People are all calling for it to be repeated. And so I'm doing it again at tomorrow's concert. It was a success after all. You would have been delighted with this audience. They listened so attentively and without a sound." Those were experiences of Mahler in Lemberg in 1903. I think we have a photo of the Lemberg Orchestra as well, don't we, Marco? Yeah. And we all know the situation in Lemberg today. I know that we'll hear more from our guests about this, but the orchestral hall, here you see the musicians rehearsing and broadcasting and using their space for medical supplies. This horrible transition from the cultural city of Lemberg, Lviv, to what it is today. And on that, let me introduce my first and main guest, Oksana Lyniv. She is the general music director of the Teatro Comunale di Bologna in Italy and guest conducts at many venues across Europe, including her debut at Bayreuth last year, the first time that a woman has conducted there. Maestra Lyniv is also the founder of the International Cultural Festival, Lyniv Mozart, and the Youth Symphony Orchestra of Ukraine. Welcome, Oksana.
Yes, hello.
There is much to be said about your country and its contributions to culture, also, as we have just heard, in the context of Mahler's life. But clearly the most pressing matter today is the war that has brought such suffering and destruction to Ukraine. We will be discussing this in some detail, especially with regard to your projects. But before we get into that in any detail, I want to go back to a critical moment in your life that directly relates to Mahler and indirectly to Mahler Foundation. In 2004, you took third prize at the Gustav Mahler conducting competition in Bamberg, an award that launched that year. It was launched that year and co-founded by Marina Mahler, Tell us a little bit about that experience.
So it was actually an incredible experience. Yesterday, I was looking for some videos from this competition, and I remembering everything like it was happened to me just yesterday, but also I understood how important it was for me to take a part to join this competition, because only from this one decision, it was also very difficult to apply, to get everything with internet, to send this application, to get this video recording, which was noticed for this application. But despite all these doubts, have I do this or not, only this one decision to do this and to go to the Mahler competition 2004 has changed my life completely. Only this participation get me to understand how important is to go on this international level, to continue to the development, the education. And I can really say that I'm very, very thankful for this. And this is also my idea and my goal, to make this exchange. And in every my interview, I'm speaking to the new generation how important is to believe, and how important is to use every chance which you have around you.
I think we have a video, a brief profile of you in 2004. I think we're going to try to show that now and give everyone an impression of that time for you.
Then I received the letters and invitation to Bamberg. It was incredible moment for me. I was so happy that I cannot understand what this letter. I so waiting for this. Yes. Okay, please. Thank you, very nice. More flute.
So it was. It's quite enjoyable watching the Bamberg Symphony. They seem to be enjoying playing Schubert's Fifth Symphony under your leadership, and in fact, Jonathan Knott, who was the conductor at that time, enjoyed it so much that he asked you back the following year to become an assistant, didn't he?
Yes, it was fantastic because on the beginning. It was 16 young conductor from around of the world, 6 young women conductor and me, and also 10 young men. And in the finale, I was only alone. And it was the time 2004 where it was quite seldom to find woman conductor also for me. And I remembering this time, like I was full of doubts if it will really work also with this profession, because nobody really supported me. Neither my family, also my professors from the conservatoire, also in Ukraine. It was the time where in our country were a lot of problems, also economical problems, cultural problems, very big corruption, also without real connections or without rich parents or family, it was very, very difficult to have any future. And actually for me, this performing in Bamberg 2004 in April, it was more than a year that I was not conducting any one concert or rehearsal with the orchestra, because to that time I have finished already my education in Lviv Music Academy, and I has not some work or connection or practice. And it was very difficult to study the score only at home with piano or on your table. But after such a long break without working with a live orchestra, just to go to Bamberg, a German orchestra top quality in front of a very high level of international jury members, already perform, and this is already a competition was happening. So for me it was really like miracle that I was in the final round. But much bigger thing for me was this conversation with Marina Mahler after the final round, when we spoke about the future, and she asked me, why are you so sad? Because I was crying after I get my prize. And she said, why? But you have your international prize, you have new connections. I said, yes, because I have to come back to home, to Ukraine, and I have nothing. I have no future. I have no one future project or concert. And I have also no idea how I can get this. And she said, yes, okay, I understood. And after this, she initiated together with director Paul Müller and intendant of Bamberger Sinfonica. They initiated this conversation with Goethe Institute to get one scholarship for me for 6 months to join Jonathan Nott as his assistant. And so for me, it was the first opportunity in my life to have some small money, to have some small budget to live and to study, to work, that I had not troubles about how I can manage my life, but it was just opportunity really for my own development. And it was incredible time for me, because I had all scores, all program, and every day it was possible for me to join the rehearsals with different international conductors and solists and whole repertoire. So I was allowed to attend every rehearsal, every concert. And after and also to that point, I also started to learn German, and already to start of my assistance by Jonathan Nott, I could speak and write and read the books, and it was like big, like entering in completely new world for me. And from that time, I discovered a lot, and from that time also, I decided for me to continue my education in German Music Academy, and I entered I successfully applied to Dresden Music Academy and continue my education for next 4 years. And so after it started everything, where I am now. Too.
Well, so it was incredibly important. I must also mention that the competition was very hard. The winner that year was Gustavo Dudamel, and so there was. It's not as if this would have been an easy to take the first prize, but the international recognition obviously was very clear. As part of that competition, you had to conduct Mahler. What role did Mahler play for you before the competition, and what does he mean to you today?
Yes. So, but I have also to say one thing. The connection, the meeting with Gustavo Dudamel was also very, very important to me, because how I said you before, of course, it would not be possible. Also, I had not really good professional level to that time, because it was not possible, or because of the situation in Ukraine, and because I was missing all international experience which is noticed for conductor as a profession. But the meeting with Gustavo Dudamel was very interesting. How I said you before, 1 year I was not conducting any orchestra because I had not professional possibilities in Ukraine. But it was big surprise for me to meet Gustavo Dudamel, who was, I think, to the competition time like 22, but he was already 6 or 8 year chef conductor of Yos Symphony Orchestra of Venezuela. And I remembering his first impression when he was telling to me, you know, I have the concert every week and I have everyday rehearsals, and all musicians in my orchestra are my close friends, and we are friends together, and we are enjoying to make the music. And you know, for that time it was like shock for me, because I was afraid from the orchestra. I was afraid because, you know, when you are conducting 1.5 years, you have such a big stress, and of course you want to do best result, but this is not possible because of missing of professional experience. And it was such a big shock for me to hear that there are also experience with Yos orchestras, and in Ukraine was no one Yos orchestra. Yes, we had only the form of student orchestra in our music academies, but the level was not really high and not really good. So it was from that time, from the Mahler competition, I had this also idea in my mind about the Yos orchestra and foundation of Yos orchestra. But this is the first question. Second question is that also professional level of symphonic and philharmonic orchestra in Ukraine, to my time of studying, was not really high, and it was the question that it was not tradition of playing Mahler symphonies in live concerts. So it was also not the one possibility for me to sit and to join the rehearsal of one Ukrainian conductor rehearsing Mahler. So it really, you know, this experience to get to come in finale with Mahler symphony for me, but just to studying is with books, with recordings in YouTube, and with piano, and with my intuition, what this music mentioned to me was really hard for me, hard experience. So I'm wondering until now how it was possible for me. But I can say that from the first moment, from the first contact, when I hear it, all recordings of all symphonies by Gustav Mahler, I had sat with Sergio Zava. I liked this recording very much. It was like I don't know, like shock for me, like completely new level of understanding what can symphonic music means. And this big respect to Mahler music, to his works, I have until now. So every time to perform and to study Mahler score is for me something very, very, very special. And I think that why? Because this idea to connect through the music to speak about very important philosophical questions, which are concerning to global ideas of our humanity, of future, of ecology, of religion, of very, very high, important and deep philosophical subjects, which Mahler is discussing through his music in his scores.
Indeed, and you capture also some of the great inspiration we have for the foundation to bring those levels of thinking and inspiration that that Mahler brings to his music and to all of us. You alluded to it, and let's get back to this project very near and dear to your heart, and that's the Youth Symphony Orchestra of Ukraine, very relevant, of course, today. Tell us a little bit about this organization.
So how I said to you, this idea of very turbulent my own years and very turbulent and problematic development of my professional path in Ukraine. It was always in my mind. And when I started successfully develop my own career after the education in Dresden, I was invited to be a conductor in National Opera Odessa. And after 5 years in Odessa, I was invited to work together with Kirill Petrenko in Bavarian State Opera. And after I was chef conductor in Graz. But all these years, I had in my mind, what can I change? What I can change in my country? How can I help young people in Ukraine who is maybe very talented, but have no one idea what to do in the future, and how to get this very, very important international impulse and international possibilities for their own development. And so it was long in my mind, and I was very happy when 2016 I get the invitation from very important festival, so Beethoven Festival in Bonn, to be to take a part in this festival and to bring together with me youth orchestra from my country. And it was very interesting discussion when I said, yes, but we have no one youth orchestra like Bundesjugendorchester. There would be different talented people from whole country, all region of country will be represented in one orchestra. And so it was very interesting idea to give the start for this very important project. And together with, in cooperation with Deutsche Welle, with Beethoven Festival in Bonn, and in cooperation with Bundesjugendorchester, so with German Youth Orchestra, we created one project for whole year, first start. And so it was the beginning, and our first concert was tour was starting in Lviv, where also I founded this Lviv Mozart Festival, and after in Philharmonie in Kyiv, and after in Bonn in Berlin. These four first concerts we did 2017.
We have an excerpt just so that everyone can experience your orchestra, and it's Beethoven's Ninth. Is this also from an early tour? I don't know when this was made.
I think this is 2018.
Okay, let's have a sample of the orchestra. I'm going to stay on here a little bit because you introduced the sections of your, oh no, you can keep it going, Marco. You introduced the sections of your orchestra there, and it's very nice to see the young musicians. Well, we're going to bring on the general director and manager of the Youth Symphony Orchestra of Ukraine to talk a little bit more about this organization, Alexandra Saitseva. Welcome, Alexandra.
Hello to everyone.
So you then became part of the organization of this orchestra. Did that happen fairly early? And what is your job now? What's your role?
Yes, so I joined the orchestra team in 2018. Firstly, just like a helper, like an international manager, and now I take care about the whole organization of all our concerts of our whole season. And of course, we work really close with Oksana, together with Oksana, and also with other members. So our team is growing up, and we are building up like a really sustainable and big project from year to year, with more and more concerts, more and more joint projects, like really developing the big story.
You're facing inordinate difficulties under the present circumstances. I mean, nothing is what it used to be. Tell us a little bit about the current situation with the orchestra.
So, of course, on 24th of February, we all had like a shock, like the whole country. Nobody was expecting this cruelty and this war. And now we spread among a lot of countries throughout Europe. A lot of our members are abroad. A lot of are really affected by the war. So a lot of even lost their homes. A lot of couldn't take their instruments with them abroad. And our young men are still in Ukraine, of course, because they everybody who is older than 18, they can go abroad. We had to cancel a lot of projects. Also, one very important project, what we were really looking forward to, was a project in Odessa in May with Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra and with Federal Youth Orchestra of Germany. There was planned a great concert, joint concert in Odessa Opera, and of course it cannot happen right now. But we really try to stay all together, to stay connected with all our young members. We have steadily like Zoom calls, like chatting together, just to be sure that everybody is safe, that nobody is injured, and we provide help to families of our members. And we also started a really wide variety of projects to help not only our musicians, but young musicians from all over Ukraine. So we really try to stay active and to do our best to support a young musical generation in Ukraine, to save it from war and to give them hope for their other future.
We will be getting, at the end of the hour, we'll talk a little bit more about what our viewers can do to help. I also want to show this video that was produced by BBC, a very poignant and touching description of what your orchestra is going through. Maybe we can show that, Marco.
Music is a language that everybody can understand.
Playing music is expressing yourself.
Music brings love and peace.
I cannot fight, I cannot be a soldier, but what I can do, I can help people with my music.
The Russian invasion to Ukraine has cost our orchestra really a lot. We can not rehearse anymore, and we had to cancel some important projects. In these hard times, we do try to stay all together, to stay in touch.
I couldn't believe that I will have to leave Kiev and go to Poland and then to Germany. But I had because I was afraid for my life, and so I took only instruments and two bags with me because it was the most important thing for me.
While the young musicians who have left their own country because of war are coming together to create music, we are doing it with all our heart, and we are showing all the world that youth people of Ukraine, all people of Ukraine really, really need help to get free.
When I play for people, there is some special connection with me and the people in the hall. Music cannot help physically, but it can help mentally, and I think this is very important now.
We are planning a lot of powerful projects with a great mission to discover the Ukraine to the whole world. We plan a really intensive concert season.
Now I will also take part in the project from the Symphony Orchestra of Ukraine in Berlin. It will be called Я Україна, which means in English, I am Ukraine. And I think this is the very powerful message for all of us, because now everyone who loved the country represents the whole country.
I know that we are not alone. A lot of people are willing to help our orchestra as they know that we are ambassadors of young Ukrainian generation of powerful Ukrainian culture, and it makes us also special.
The one wish I have for Ukraine is to win.
I wish that Ukraine won't be attacked by any countries.
Music is a part of my life, and this is how I can help Ukraine, help my people to survive. That's what keeps me motivated. That is what music means to me now. This is my voice.
It's extremely moving. You have some very articulate members of your orchestra. I want to, for those of you who are watching and you have questions, please don't hesitate in joining us by asking questions. Put it in the chat and we'll get to them at the end of the hour, as many as we can. Not all of the orchestra's members, we just heard this, are trying to escape. Men over the age of 18 have stayed to help defend their country. Today we are going to speak to one of them, a young violinist from Kyiv, Dmytro Cherepov.
Yes, hello.
Hello, Dmytro. Thank you for joining us today. I am at a loss of words to begin this conversation with you. Inconceivable that in our time, anyone in Europe is being called to do what you have to do. How are you, and what is the spirit among you and your colleagues there?
Yes, let me tell you about how the war started for me and my family. So I supposed to have a concert on 24th of February, but as you know, there is a war. So the first week we stayed in Kiev with my parents and my little sister. And almost all the time we were staying in a shelter. It is a basement of the house. So we heard explosions all around many times. And after a week of living like this, we decided that we need to evacuate, and we moved to the west of Ukraine, to the city you mentioned before, Lviv. The evacuation was also very difficult. We we moved by a train where people was forced to stay for 10 hours because there was no seat place for them. It was horrible. There was no air, no, no light. It was really scary and horrible experience. Yes, fortunately, we have some friends in Lviv, so they gave us an apartment, and we can live here. But many other people, they don't have something like that, so they are supposed to live in gyms or some very little apartments or rooms. So yes, and now here in Lviv, yes, we feel much better, much safer. But as you maybe know, a week ago, there was also a rocket strike, and I think 8 people died from that. So I don't feel that it's completely safe here.
Are you able to continue to play or to have music as part of your life there?
Okay, yes. The first 2 weeks of war, I couldn't do this because of all my emotions, all my feelings. When you read the news all the day and you cry constantly because people die all around your country, there is no motivation, no chance to play. So the first 2 weeks I wasn't practicing, but then yes, I started to practice my violin, and I'm having my exams this year, so I need to prepare, and yes, I'm practicing now.
I think we have a video of you trying to be a part of a concert. Can you set the stage for us? What are we seeing here?
Yes, a friend of mine, conductor, she asked me to take a part in her concerts here, which are a charity concert. We collect money to send for the help to our army, and as you can see at the video, the air alarm began just when we played a piece. So the whole orchestra and whole audience, we went to the shelter because that is the rules.
Yeah, let's have a listen.
Yeah.
Повітряна тривога. Ми бережемо ваше життя. Давайте наразі спустимося.
It's all too reminiscent of the darker and darkest days of Europe, European history.
Yes.
So I, to ask if you're practicing is not to belittle the situation, but to say if there's any hope in music, and to say that you're still striving to complete your studies says a lot about your determination, even that you got together and perform music in front of other people and to carry on under those circumstances. It's extraordinary. I wish you all the best. I know in the name of everyone here attending and around the world that this nightmare is soon over. And we salute your spirit and determination. And I know that we'll be looking towards, hopefully, a better situation for you, for the orchestra, and for your country, hopefully very, very soon. Thank you very much for being on our guest today.
Thank you.
Well, there's so much more to say, and we're going to begin our last segment now. But in closing, I would like to turn to a place where, despite all of this, there is hope, namely the future. Oksana, and you're back with us here. Tell us a little bit about the plans for the orchestra as we look forward and as we hopefully find better opportunities ahead.
Yes, so how Alexandra also said, this is very dramatical time now for us. We are trying all to do everything what we can to evacuate people. For example, our big project together with YOS Orchestra in Slovenia, in Ljubljana. Now we have evacuated around 140 young musicians from Ukraine together with members of their family. And now we are very happy that already 3 months they can live in safe situation, and they have regularly rehearsals in the orchestra. They are playing regularly their concerts, and also they have master classes with important and famous musicians from around of the world. But also we are organizing a lot of very intensive concert season now, because we are playing a lot of benefit concerts also for Ukraine, and we are collecting also money to help people in Ukraine, and to help especially musicians, young musicians in Ukraine, and also for their family, and not only members of our orchestra, but generally in Ukraine. So everybody, every young musician in Ukraine can apply to us for the help, and we are very happy also to receive big thanks from the families, from the musicians and their family members, because they you can really see how everybody who is now solidar with Ukraine can help people. So we cannot stop the Russian invasion, but we can people to give the feeling that they are not alone, that everybody is trying to help to survive and to manage this difficult time. So also we have a lot of invitation from around of the world, and I am very happy that we can next month play very intensively and very important projects. So we will take a part in big festivals in Europa. For example, Young Euroclassic Festival in Berlin, in Konzerthaus in Berlin. Also Beethoven Festival Bonn. We will play big open air concert with many thousand people in the audience. We will play in the festival Young Künstler Bayreuth. And in every festival, in every concert, we will also play the music from Ukrainian composer, but also a lot of pieces which are commissioned extra, and it will be world premiere performance for the first time, and composers from Ukraine now who is still in Ukraine under under rocket attack, they are composing the pieces for us. And I think it's also show us how important is the art, because the composer themselves will be not able to join the concert, for example, in Bonn, but this piece, for example, by Kharkiv composer Bocharov, will be performed in Bonn and will be also broadcasted. So I think it's very important moment now to be united together. For me, it's also very difficult to work now, to conduct now, because as an artist, you have to work a lot, you have to be free, you have to be creative, we have to bring our emotions to the stage, to share this with musicians, to share this with audience. And of course, when you are in stress, when you are worried about the members of your family, for example, today it was air attack in Odessa, where are living my parents-in-law, for example, and also a lot of colleagues, and also our young musicians. And we know every day about new human victims. It's very difficult to survive and very difficult to still to believe in ideals, in human values. You know, when you see this aggression without any reason, it's very difficult just to keep the mind, I don't know how, free and strong, and you know, to close the eyes for I don't know, just to believe in human values for the future, for our heirs, you know. And only what helps is just only study the history, and also to see dramatic examples also in the past, especially also in the 20th century. And also such a music like by Gustav Mahler also helps me a lot. And now, for example, for me would be completely no possible to conduct some comedies like, you know, not easy, but like funny music by Rossini. So I am trying to manage my next concerts program with very serious works, to be able also for me to you know, to put my emotions also in the right way, and also through the music, through the connections to audience, also to speak and to help also my home country. So we cannot now do any plans, very clear plans. We can only see for next month, because nobody cannot say when this war will be ended. So we don't know really the numbers of victims. We don't know what will be happen politically and economically in the future, but we can still hope, we can still keep fighting, and help for the future, help so many persons, and also in our case, artistic young artists from Ukraine, how is just possible for us. So I am very thankful for any cooperation, and also I'm very thankful for Mahler Foundation, and also for especially to Marina Mahler, because we met us for the first time 2004, and now on the beginning of the war she contacted me immediately, because she saw our concert on Arte platform from recording from Berlin, and she contacted me immediately what we can do for the future. And now we have very, very nice ideas, and I can just hope and pray that we will be able to realize everything, and maybe also even more that we can plan now.
Well, you certainly have inspired Mahler Foundation, but today also people around the world with this incredible spirit and determination and utter belief in the power of art. I wanted, while you were speaking of this, let's bring Marina Mahler on. I know she's in this Zoom room. Marina, why don't you join us here for talking a little bit with Oksana about the future and about what we can all do together.
Yes, Oksana, dear Oksana, I'm very moved, so difficult for me to speak, because who would have known in 2004 that such a situation in Europe could happen, such an aggression. And my deep feeling is that it's the time now for music and all the arts to resist this retrograde, backward movement into violence, into chaos, into things that we should have gone beyond. What is the point of being alive? We have to make a big effort, but it's easy to say, but you are living it, and your youth orchestra are living it. And I can only say that I love you all. We will do, all of us together, and I will do whatever I can to put you in touch with people who can not only work with you, but expand the knowledge of what's going on and make people sit up and react. Because my feeling also about Mahler's music it's also why I made the Mahler Foundation, really, is that, you know, to mend the broken spiritual bridges between the peoples is something that, it's a quote from the 1920 Mahler Fest in Amsterdam, from Schoenberg and Mengelberg and de Wiebe. This has stuck in my head all my life since I heard it first. And I do believe it's the task of music and the arts to do this and to stop this endless cycle of what's happening. And I think that that is possible. We have new ways of reaching out. We have the media, we have the internet, we have a way of reaching more people than ever before. And we must do this. The purpose of all these things is peace. And we as a foundation, we have projects which I hope will be linked with the Olympic Games, the Cultural Games in 2024 in Paris and ongoing, because the Olympic Games were formed for peace in the world and understanding, and the arts can bring that too. And so I have hope that what's important is to connect and to connect with you and not to let go emotionally, to keep close even if we are weeping inside, because it's what we are doing, because it's very hard to wash. It's very painful. But the beauty, I believe in beauty. Beauty can make things soar above what's happening now into a different future, a better future. And so it's up to every single one of us to do that in some way and to stay close with you. So I'm sending you love. I'm sending Alexandra love, sending the whole youth orchestra. And I hope to meet you all and that we will all be working in future together. With other, we have a youth orchestra in Irapuato, in Mexico. And this is a wonderful thing, to the idea of bringing these youth orchestras together in one huge manifestation for the future of mankind. And this always moves people, and it must move people. And I believe that it will, and that there are projects we can do together which will move the world. So let's do it. Let's do it. That's what we're here for. Let's do it. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
sending. I'm you know.
Well, you're an incredible facilitator, Marina, and it's been obvious from what Oksana has told us today as well. Alexandra, what can we do to help? I mean, many people are watching, and I'm sure they're wondering what the possibilities are.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words, and we are so inspired and really looking forward for our cooperation. And so there are really a lot of ways to help us and to support us. First of all, to spread the information about current situation, about also our youth orchestra, about Ukrainian music, to support Ukrainian music, to play Ukrainian music, to to discover some Ukrainian music. I think it's really important to support Ukrainian culture in these times. But also, of course, you can help us with donations and to support our project directly. For example, you can donate to our account in Ukraine to help to support families of young Ukrainian musicians all around the country. As Oksana said, that we are supporting the families directly and keep close with a lot of families, more than 400 families now. And also the second option would be to donate money to the open call for the donations for our partner orchestra, Federal Youth Orchestra of Germany, who are collecting money for our projects in Europe. It's really tricky now to transfer money from Ukraine to Europe now, and to support this project in Ljubljana. You can join Open Call of German Federal Orchestra and support our projects there by donating to the German account.
We will be posting all of the information you heard to the description of this video after the show. So after we post this, this information will be available to all of you who click on the film on the show, and you'll be able to access that information. It's too much information, too many account numbers, etc. But we will make that available to anyone who watches the show, goes to our video afterwards. I see that Marina, you're speaking, but we can't hear you.
If I could say one more thing. I have been speaking at length with Lemi Bonifacio and also with John Warner and the Orchestra for the Earth, and with Frank Schäfer, the wonderful Dutch filmmaker, who all would like to join together with you in Ljubljana or wherever it would be necessary to make a very big outreach for children's, for your orchestra and linking with other orchestras in different parts of the world. So this is a project which we can bring forward, and Lemi has immense outreach with all theaters. And I know that now Frank would like to make a film for the children, with you together. He would like to, and he's a great filmmaker. So this would reach many, many people. I just wanted to say that, so that is in the future and will happen.
Very good. I do have some questions. I don't want to go past the hour without at least passing these questions on. Anthony Rahman writes, this is a truly inspiring event and an important testimony to the indomitable spirit of the Ukrainian youth. What is the most important message of Mahler's music to Oksana and Alexandra in these dark times? You've addressed them actually in your own way. Perhaps you want to comment a little bit more on what Mahler may inspire in this situation.
So for me, the most important message in whole Mahler works is that this global crisis will happen. So it is happened, but the exit of global crisis of our civilization is the mental transformation of every human being, and everybody is responsible for this.
So we have a responsibility as
Yes.
well, and as individuals, because we collectively create and form humanity, don't we? Alexandra, did you want to say something?
Yes, just a message of responsibility, and also about joint times and joint future. It's very important to understand that we are living on one earth, and we share the earth among all people, and we are all connected, like a feeling of connection.
That's right. A song of the earth, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. I have invited questions. I don't have a lot of questions from people around the world. I have a lot of very, very enthusiastic messages. Oh, here we do. I have a couple of questions here. Oh, just my best wishes. No, these are all very, very positive and overwhelmed responses. I'm going to close off the Mahler Hour, but I want to end with by picking up basically your suggestion, Oksana, to perform and Alexandra perform Ukrainian music. And I want to show at the very end, after I'm done signing off, I would like to have music have the last word and have Ukrainian music have the last word. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to hear. This is Stankovic's Second Symphony, the Heroic Symphony.
So Stankovich is a living composer. We called him like patriarch of Ukrainian music now, because he will get now, I think, around 80. He is still in Kiev. I hope that he is safe. And Stankovic studied by another one very important symphonic composer, Boris Latušinsky. And Stankovic, for me, is incredible moment that he wrote this very dramatical music and powerful symphony, which he called Heroical Symphony in 70s. So in 70s, it was no war. And from the first very beginning, this symphony starts with very big tension, and this is like in the airs what we are feeling now. This fighting and this fear and very dramatical situation where everybody is trying to survive. And in the second movement, also Stankovic used one Ukrainian folk song, wedding song, which symbolize in that moment there, like one mother is looking in the ruins in destroyed city, is looking for her sons, for her children, and maybe these children are already died, so are victims already from this war. But in the finale, so we will hear the one part of very finale of this second symphony. We will hear again this climax of this fighting moment and very rhythmical accents. And it was, I just can say that it was the first experience for young musicians of our orchestra to play modern piece. And on the beginning, they had big struggles to learn this, and they didn't understand why I chose this symphony, because of course more useful for there is to play some romantic music from 19th century. But for me, it was important moment to make their connected with modern music, also with modern composition. And I can say that on the end of these projects, when we also recorded this, everybody was very moved and involved to perform this kind of music. So it was, I think, also important moment to musician, to classical musician, to young musician, to have their first experience to perform the music by 20th century.
And it's also inspiring and very important that we bring this wonderful symphony together with Oksana Lyniv on stage at Beethoven Festival Bonn this year on 29th of August in Opera Bonn. So we are looking forward to play it live.
Very good. Well, I want to thank you so much to both of you for being on the show today. There are just some very important messages to all of us, and of course it's very touching that you will take the time to tell us a little bit about the situation. I will sign off, but then we will hear Stankovic as the last word today. Thank you so much. The Mahler Hour is brought to you by Mahler Foundation and contributors around the world, a monthly streaming event bringing together individuals interested in the composer, the thinker, the humanist Gustav Mahler, as we explore not only his life and works, but how his legacy still informs essential aspects of the human experience, and how we can turn that experience into a force for the good in today's world. Become a member and support our activities. I want to thank our guests, Oksana Lyniv, Alexandra Saitseva, Dimitro Cherepov, as well as our fabulous production team, Marco Ayala, our community manager and technical support today, and Monica Angano, our executive director for administration. The next edition of the Mahler Hour will be airing on the 111th anniversary of Mahler's passing on the 18th of May, 2022. That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. See you soon. And we give the last word to Stankovic.